whatever else.
They have to be following your stuff.
And we have to allow that?
Yes.
How do you do that? You have to list them?
No, they just have to follow the channel. Like I'm one of the followers.
I saw that. But so they can follow it? I didn't allow you to follow it.
No, you don't have to allow people. I put it for anybody can follow it right now. If you want to make it private, we can make it private.
If we make it private, then how do they follow it?
Well, we have to send an invite to it.
For them to do it? Okay.
We're gonna turn this thing on?
Gotcha, huh?
We're gonna turn this thing on?
Yeah, I don't, to see if it works?
Yeah.
You can. Been thinking about that. Let me take a microphone on me. Wait, that didn't come on. That's what this controls it.
Because it's silent right now. There it is. Kind of. Kind of is getting something.
I didn't hear you.
No.
What are you doing?
Testing the microphone.
What'd you say? Oh yeah, how you testing? Let's go. Let's go back here and test it. See if it comes through that way. This is mic 1. Mic 1. Okay.
Test it. Test it.
Testing. Hello. Hello. It's okay, let's test it back here.
I was not getting anything.
How do you know? That would be maybe? That's on. We'll turn this on.
Okay.
So here I'll leave that on if you want to test it.
Test.
Hello.
Yeah, it works perfectly fine here. Now, why is that YouTube not receiving it though? That's the question, bro. Yeah. Hey. I'm saying something normal. Can you hear me? Not at all. Because I'm trying to see what's going on. Can you hear me?
I heard John earlier.
I can't hear you, Ellen.
Steve, we gotta have a new computer. I can't keep bringing this up here. It's working now. You wanna see it?
Can you hear me?
It's about a 5-second delay.
But can you hear me perfectly fine?
Great. I hear you, great.
It's 5-second delay on it?
Yeah, we switched. The guy, audio, probably about 30-second delay.
It should be there. Can you hear me, Alan? Alan. Should be working fine now. Just wait for them to answer. Alan? Uh-oh.
You would take that off. Yes, I would.
Hey, Alan? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me yes or no?
He's shaking his head.
Which way though? Huh?
Are you rocking that camera?
Am I blocking it?
No, rocking it.
No? No!
Those ladies have approved today. Hey. And, oh, it's not, tell you what. You got Christian Park, 1995. He had severe cases. There's a group of 72 hours. And he scratched himself. And he just wasn't speaking.
I can't put it over today because we got it plugged into the microphone. Sunday I didn't.
Yeah, just facing it with you. Oh, there we go. Or, I don't know, fix it.
See if that did it. Well, see if that did it, because Sunday it wasn't doing it. Before you do all that, don't go crazy.
Well, I'm not gonna go crazy, I know an easy way to fix it. Alright. If it didn't, let me know.
So when are you officially free? Are we gone 2 seconds? You limited 2 minutes. Wednesday. There's, I know that guy. I know. It might be so nice here.
Hey, that fixed it, just turn it down like that.
Really? You go to the north?
Hey, Steve, just, I tilted it down just a little and it fixed it. That's what it was.
Okay, I saved the settings.
What's that? What are you doing?
I saved the settings.
So if I unplug this and unplug that, when I plug it back in, will it automatically do it? It won't? Not funny.
No, you have to put that it's a microphone every single time.
I do. Oh, but it'll give me the choice.
Yeah, so like if you like want to plug in some headphones down the line, you don't have to go through the whole thing.
I got you. So I just gotta say, and I'm not gonna be doing this long, I hope. If I get Steve, sure. I won't do that long. This one was-
Hey, man, let's start with what you look like. Doing all right? You go. Hey, you, man. Looks like leaves.
That's fine. I'm used to this little bit. But, wait a minute. Talk shit. I got another badge I can
Hey, Danny. Oh, hey, you there? That's right. Diane's still in the wood. It just won't let her go. Yeah. Yeah. I got a call from her old son, she really sick. Yeah, you got her urgent care today. Don't get sick off over here. Okay. Yeah.
Call that one right. That's why I didn't see it. That's right.
And our office was small. It's a smaller office too. So we only got 15. One office, 30, 47. One day. So it was crazy. Created enough work. The one that we know is minor. Not too crazy. The fence is gone.
Wasn't me, I promise.
Yeah. Second, my mind.
Way around.
It's right, yeah, it's just from like the doors open up.
It's just.
There you go.
Tree.
We all have black cats. It's cold. In the morning.
I can talk to your mom. That's wrong.
Yes, it is.
So it's gonna be back every little bit.
Yes,
Yeah.
it
Never have to.
I'll probably spend 3 nights. We just like, like I hear. I really like to go all the way to
Yo, sure. A long walk.
was voting in his. It was SEC. 2 years ago, that's where. Yeah, I was. Sure. So. He's better.
It's green light, so it should be good. It has a green light, so it should be good. We'll try to check it. That doesn't mean it'll be orange.
Yeah.
And you need me to do it before you're ready to go?
No,
Good answer.
Amy's gonna be taking care of the dog.
James said she's putting up Morgan making the ring next week.
Yeah, I took him to the airport this morning at 0:30. And I don't know exactly when they're getting back. Sure how stuff on. The game will be good in school. We'll see. They are up in New York taking their own vacation.
Is that a price is going to be than that?
Yeah. Well,
Maybe better.
dog babysitting is great.
Another variant.
Yeah.
Hello.
They settled on one. Well, they had two. Painter used to mock up a sample. I was going to paint that section of the bank, but they said, well, I'll make out the board. May not be much. You know, there were about 5 or 6. They're like, they're all fine. But we're not going to be fine. We're not. It'll be better than what we have up here. That's what I'm thinking.
Right, it's time for us to keep going. Before we do so, hey, Rain, you said prayer for us.
I don't have anything for letting us all come out here safely this evening to study your word. Be with us during this time that we study. Help us to study carefully and learn the things that you want us to. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. All right, we left off back in chapter 2 last week. We just got a couple passages here to deal with before we get into chapter 3. Story of Habakkuk so far. Habakkuk has asked God, how long are you going to allow social injustice to go on in Jerusalem? And God says, just hold on. I'm going to tell you something to make your ears tingle. They talk about how the Chaldeans are going to come in, and they're going to destroy Jerusalem. And that causes another concern and issue to come up for Habakkuk. And he asks his second question. Anybody remember what his second question was?
Why pick somebody worse off than we are?
Yeah, it's like, wait a second. You're going to send in the Chaldeans who are more wicked than we are to destroy us. And God basically says, yeah. But then what's he going to do? Destroy them. Yeah, he's going to destroy us. He's going to destroy the Chaldeans. And that's what chapter 2 is largely about. And chapter 2 ends with 5 woes, if you will, that are pronounced upon the Chaldeans. We looked at the first 3. They begin in verse 6. The first one is, woe to him who increases what is not his. So he's talking about the Chaldeans basically robbing and pillaging the other nations around them. The second woe begins in verse 9. Woe to him who covets evil gain for his house. The idea is desiring something and taking something that he has no right to. Then the third woe begins in verse 12. Woe to him who builds a town with bloodshed. Of course, talking about how his robbery, his covetousness is accompanied with violence. Okay? And that's what they're building their empire upon. Then that brings us to the fourth woe. Beginning in verse 15. This is where we left off last week. So verses 15 through 17. God says, woe to him who gives drink to his neighbor, pressing him to your bottle, even to make him drunk, that you may look upon his nakedness. You are filled with shame instead of glory. You also drink, and be exposed as uncircumcised. The cup of the Lord's right hand will be turned against you, and utter shame will be on your glory. For the violence done to Lebanon will cover you, and the plunder of beasts which made them afraid because of men's blood, and the violence of the land and the city, and all who dwell in it. So God here announces this woe, and the woe specifically is woe to him who gives drink to his neighbor. What is God talking about here? Anybody have any idea? He's using kind of an analogy. It's not unusual for God to use this analogy in the scriptures. But anybody kind of put it into words so we might be able to get a handle on it?
Your parents didn't share the cup. Share their cup, which cup of bread, if they're going to.
Okay? So the idea is they're going to influence other nations, right? Through their violence, through their rapaciousness, through their covetousness, to partake in the same kind of behavior. When I think about this, I think sometimes of men getting women drunk, right? Taking advantage of it. We also hear the other way around, women getting men drunk, right? And then ending up robbing. And so this is how God is describing the behavior of the Chaldeans. Of course, he's describing it on a national level. You know, he's talking about pressing him to your bottom, even to make him drunk, that you may look on his nakedness. And that's just great. He's talking about taking advantage of it. You know, you're seducing other nations, you're seducing other people so that you can take advantage of them. I want you to take a look at Jeremiah chapter 51. Jeremiah, the last of the major prophets that talks about the coming destruction by the Chaldeans. And in Jeremiah, God talks about his judgment of the Chaldeans as well. Chapter 51 is dealing with the utter destruction of Babylon. And in chapter 51, beginning at verse 6, God says, flee from the midst of Babylon, and everyone save his life. Do not be cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He shall recompense her. Babylon was a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunk. The nations drank her wine. Therefore the nations are deranged. Babylon has suddenly fallen. Perhaps she may be healed. Okay. So in Jeremiah has it that Babylon was the golden cup in the Lord's hand. Okay. And then he goes on to talk about the idea that Babylon made all the world or all the earth drunk, and the nations drank her wine. So you have here the will of God, and you also have the free will of Babylon, if you will. Okay? What's the will of God in regards to Babylon? To do what? Yeah, to do his bidding, right? And so he's going to use Babylon, and he's going to use that attitude and that mindset of getting people drunk. They are the gold cup, okay, in God's hand. But then Babylon itself, the will of Babylon, is to get the nations drunk. That made all the earth drunk. The nations drank her wine. Okay? Now, what ways would the nations drink her wine? What do you think might be expressed by that?
Well, they had physical power.
Okay?
You were, you
Okay? And physical power over the nation. You know, through their armies, through their might, through their bidding, right? Do you think there were nations that were actually attracted to the power of Babylon? You know, that would actually, you know, hey, let's make Babylon our ally. I think what you're going to find when you look at Rome and God's wrath and the judgment upon Rome, you know, he describes Rome as a harlot riding on the beast, you know, with a golden cup in her hand, and talks about all the merchants and everybody being drunk on the power and the prestige of Rome. Okay? When Rome was destroyed, the merchants stand afar off and they wail because of the loss they're going to suffer and the loss they face. So the idea is, here in Babylon, God is using them, but He's using them in a way that they are already prone to behave. Okay? Here of Habakkuk 2, you are filled with shame instead of glory, you also drink. Go over to Jeremiah 25. In Jeremiah chapter 25, we have a passage by this prophet talking about the judgment of the nations in general. And in verses 15 through 26, it says, "For thus says the Lord God of Israel to me, take this wine cup of fury from my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send you to drink it. And they will drink and stagger and go mad because of the sword that I will send among them. Then I took the cup of the Lord's hand and made all the nations drink to whom the Lord had sent me, Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, its kings and its princes, to make them a desolation and astonishment, a hissing and a curse as it is this day. Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and his servants, his princes, and all his people, all the mixed multitude, all the kings of the land of Uz, all the kings of the land of the Philistines, namely Ashkelon, Gaza, Ekron, and the remnant of Ashkelon, Edom, Moab, and the people of Ammon, all the kings of Tyre, all the kings of Zidon, all the kings of the coastland which across the sea, Dedan, Tema, Buz, and all who are in the furthest corners, all the kings of Arabia, and all the kings of the mixed multitude who dwell in the desert, all the kings of Zimri, all the kings of Elam, all the kings of Thebes, all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another, and all the kingdoms of the world which are on the face of the earth. Also the king of Shishak shall drink after them. Shishak is considered to be a code word for Babylon. So God here in Jeremiah is describing God's judgment upon all nations as getting drunk. They're going to drink of God's wine, that drink of God's judgment. So it's just an analogy that he uses throughout the scriptures. So this is exactly what he's saying here in Habakkuk, chapter 2, verses 15 through 17. What does he mean at the end of verse 16? He says, you are filled with shame instead of glory, you also drink, and be exposed as uncircumcised. The cup of the Lord's right hand will be turned against you, that your shame will be on your glory. What does it mean, and be exposed as uncircumcised? Anybody have any idea what he might be talking about?
Uncircumcised. You is God's people. Uncircumcised are not God's people. So you think it has not accepting God. Why destruction?
Yeah, he's talking about you're going to be exposed as not belonging to the Lord. Right? God's going to use them to accomplish it as well. But that doesn't mean that you're my people. That doesn't mean that you belong to me. You will be exposed as separated from me. Okay? You'll be exposed as uncircumcised. So David hit the nail on the head with that one. And then in verse 17, God gives the reason for this. For the violence done to Lebanon will cover you, and the plunder of beasts which made them afraid because of men's blood, and the violence of the land and the city and all who dwell in it. God's talking about his judgments is going to come upon them because of their consuming nature. Right? He is describing the Chaldeans as possess this voracious beast that is coming through the nation of the Middle East and is consuming everything in its path. Go back to Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 25. Here through Jeremiah, God says, behold, I am against you, O destroying mountain, who destroys all the earth, says the Lord. And I will stretch out my hand against you, roll you down from the rocks, and make you a burnt mountain. When he says, I'm against you, O destroying mountain, what's he talking about there? Who's he talking about? context, this is judgment against Babylon, Chaldeans. That's what chapter 51 is about. Why do you refer to them as a mountain, a destroying mountain? They're powerful. Many times the nations are referred to as mountains. Okay? A lot of times you're going to read back in the 3rd chapter of Habakkuk, you're going to read about the Lord coming and the mountains quaking. It's talking about the nations of men are going to be afraid that the Lord is coming. Okay? We have the famous passage in the book of Daniel where the stone cut out of the mountain without hands comes and destroys the image of the gold and the silver and bronze and the iron and clay. And what happens to that stone? Anybody remember? It grows to be a giant mountain. Okay? And that represents God's kingdom that will never be destroyed. Yet here he talks about the Chaldean Empire. He says, I will roll you down from the rocks. Okay? I will bring your loftiness down. Okay? What happens to people when they are part of a great nation? Today we call them world powers.
I guess they're invincible.
They what?
They're invincible.
Yeah, they feel invincible. They start feeling a little bit full of themselves. It's like, I mean, I don't know now. I don't know, maybe I haven't known as long as I've been a Christian. But how many people throughout our history have thought that the United States is invincible? You know, we are a world power. Right? That's how we term ourselves. That's how we view ourselves. Our politics reflects it. Right? China feels the same way about themselves. Yeah.
There's no force that will take it down like that.
Yeah.
They're prepared to not believe that anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the hubris of mankind, right? Can you imagine anybody thinking that God would just be able to destroy Babylon and the Babylonian Empire, especially the way he went about it without even a fight? I mean, really without a fight. He conquered the city of Babylon. Who did he use to do it? Cyrus. And he said that Cyrus was going to do it about 150 years before he was even born. Right? And who rules the nations of men? And so, I mean, this is one of the most powerful lessons of the prophets, that God rules in the nations of men. Do you ever get distressed over the state of our nation? Does it ever bother you? I mean, you ever get tired of reading the newspaper? You ever get tired of looking at these things? I do. It's like, I'm sitting there thinking, I mean, I don't even look at media anymore as far as internet and all that kind of stuff. But I'm almost to the point where I'm going to quit taking the paper. Because it's just so incredibly discouraging. You know, and the idea is we get so full of ourselves and think, yeah, we're going to be forever. Maybe not. There hasn't been a nation yet that's lasted the history of the world, but God's kingdom will. See, the thing is what you've got to keep understanding, keep reminding yourself of is who's in charge. You know, who's in control. And to me, that's one of the greatest control. Right? That's one of the things that back teaches, especially as we get to the 3rd chapter here. Anybody see anything in verses 15 through 17 that we didn't cover that you want to bring up at all? If not,
For your mouth to get around you, because of their human bloodshed and not reclaim these powers. And if you go back to Noah, why did God destroy the earth? It's not.
yeah, all the earth was full of violence, bloodshed, you know, and every man's heart was only evil continually. And so this is what, you know, identified their nation and their rise to power.
The bottom of the Lebanon, we know that Lebanon was known for their rock trees, forests.
Yeah, the forest of Lebanon, and that was part of Phoenicia. Yeah, Hiram was the king of Lebanon, and he would send those trees to Solomon to help build the temple and what have you. The vines of Lebanon, the idea, they would go in and they would just take whatever they wanted, the trees, the timbers, what have you, and just destroy it. And you have people in the world think that way today as well. You don't hear much about. Remember a few months ago, everybody was all up in arms about the fires that were burning down in the rainforest, the Amazon. Remember hearing about that, right? And how all the world leaders are getting on in Brazil saying, "Hey, you need to do something about this. You need to be fighting the fires." You know why there were fires? What? Yeah, a lot of people are saying, you know why? Because they're wanting to clear out the forest so they can plant crops. So they can actually start making a living for themselves. And everybody else is kind of paranoid they're going to destroy the fragile climate of the world, and the ecosystem, and what have you. So, I mean, that's one of the subjects we won't go down. Let's take a look at verses 18 through 20 here, finish up the chapter. The fifth woe. What profit is the image that its maker should carve it, the molded image, teacher of lies, that the maker of its mold should trust in it to make new idols? Woe to him who says to wood, awake, the silent stone, arise, it shall teach. Behold, it is overlaid with gold and silver, yet in it there is no breath at all. But the Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. Okay. So here's this woe. And what is God pronouncing against Chaldea here? What's he talking about? What's the error that mean? Idolatry, idols. Okay. False religion. Basically, it's a pretty good illustration of God. Now, what does he say about these idols? Woe to him who says to wood, talk to me. Right? I mean, they carve a rock, they carve a tree, they overlay with gold, they overlay with silver, they make it look pretty impressive, and they say, okay, wake up. Talk to me. Doesn't that sound a little insane? And I was thinking about this earlier today as I'm studying this. I'm thinking, that really sounds like a crazy person who would make something say, oh, this is my God. Okay, talk to me. I've made some pretty nice things out of wood in my time, and not one of them has ever said a word to me. Right? Not a word.
Did you talk to him?
Oh yeah, wood whisperer. Right? So the wood's not going to talk to him. The wood's not going to tell him anything. But how do the last two lines read of the chapter? The Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth do what? Keep silent before him. Because God does talk to us. God speaks to us. He speaks through his prophets. He speaks through his word. He spoke directly to people in the Old Testament. He sent his son to speak to us. What does Hebrews 1:1 say? God, who in time past spoke to us through the prophets, now speaks to us through his son. Right? We didn't have to carve anything. God speaks to us. Let all the earth be silent before God. Huge contrast there. The idea of truth.
Hey, obviously, that still goes on today.
Yes, it does. And it goes on actually in the shape of idols. Right? People actually fashion idols. They bow to these rocks, they bow down to these carved images, what have you. And they ask them for help, they pray to them, they want them to awake, and help them. But more pertinent to our society, is there any difference in idolatry and a man-made religion? See, a lot of people think that there is, because what is the claim that is at the heart of the religion? What's at the heart of Presbyterian religion?
Well, when it's every day, we're all pretty good
Yeah, it's many pathways to God, right? I'll say there's a lot of different ways to approach God. Yet is that what the Bible teaches? Yeah, it's God's way or the highway, basically. right? It matters how we worship God. So what we have done, possibly to deflect the accusation of insanity, we have traded the idols for just a religion fashioned according to our will. And fashioned according to our desires. And fashioned according to our lives. Why does someone make an idol? Why is an idol attractive? Because an idol's not going to tell you what to do, is it? Right? It won't wait. It won't tell you what to do. So it's like, that's a great God to have. He's not going to make any demands of you. Okay? But see, the thing is, with a false religion, yeah, it'll tell you what to do. It'll tell you to do what you want to do. Because you're not worshiping God according to His will. You're worshiping God according to your will. Right? In Deuteronomy chapter 4, where God says, you shall not add to my word, nor shall you take away from it. If I've got God's word, and I said, well, you know what, I really want to do this too, so I add something to it. Am I doing God's will? Whose will am I doing? I'm doing mine. So if we got God's will, He's given it to me. He does speak. He is in His holy temple. He does speak. He gives me His will, and I said, I really don't want to do that. I don't like that. So I'm just going to take those out. Am I doing God's will? No. Whose will am I doing? I'm doing my own. Right? So really, what is the difference between carving a tree, overlaying it with gold and silver, and praying to it, or just fashioning my own religion that claims to have Christ at the center of it? Whose will am I doing? Either way, I'm doing my will.
Most of them say, well, I believe in what the New Testament says, and I believe that God is good, all nature, and all men, and all that stuff, but
You know, throwing but.
there's a but.
Yeah.
It's always in there. I think that so-and-so is what God would like to say. I feel that instrumental music is helpful in terms of worshiping God.
Yeah.
It helps me to be able to express myself.
Yeah. A lot of you are familiar with this illustration. You hire me to paint your house. Okay? You're going on a trip, you're going on vacation, and you want your house painted while you're gone. And so we get together, and you show me the colors that you want. And what you want is you want an off-white, right, with a dark charcoal print on your house. And so you sign off on it, I sign off on it, okay, we'll take care of it. And we're both in agreement, this is what we're gonna do. So you go off on your trip, and I get done painting your house 2 days before you get back. I say, you know what, I really, really like you. So I'm gonna do something extra special for you. Okay? I'm gonna paint a nice purple polka dot pattern on your house. And all the dots are gonna be exactly the same size, gonna be perfectly spaced, it's gonna look like a laser printer did it, right? A lot of time, a lot of expense, a lot of effort on my part, but this is a freebie. I'm not charging you anything for it. You come home for your trip, you go home for your driveway, what do you see? Purple polka dots. Are you happy? Why not?
Because that's not what I wanted.
Because that's not what you wanted, right? But I said, wait a second, Kitty, right? I'm not charging you for this. I'm doing this because I really, really like you. And I want to do something really special for you out of my heart. Are you happy now? Why not? Because it's not what you wanted. Exactly. And that, why is it that we demand,
I should charge you for.
yeah, you should charge me for vandalism, right? Why is it that we expect what we want, but we don't think God should get what He wants? God should get what we choose to give.
That's what a lot of people think. I'm improving on what is said.
Yes,
This showed my great love for God.
yeah.
I did lessons of whatever it is.
I improved on Kitty's color scheme, right? It shows my great love for Kitty. She still ain't happy.
First class,
Yeah. So, yeah, the idea, the idolatry, to me, that's the clincher. It's like, they have no concept of God.
The people that worship idols, they believe in God, right?
They believed in a God.
But most of them believe it was a the God overall, right?
In Israel,
That's my point. They worship idols.
Yeah.
Anyway,
right,
and God created all of it. He created what's your card.
yeah,
That's the hard to understand part.
yeah,
The religions today, I get what you're saying, but religions today, to me, are easier to comprehend than I. And I get it, there's a similarity, but I can't, the people carving a piece of wood things, that's just hard to comprehend.
yeah. Yeah, that's all that hard for you to comprehend. What are you gonna say, Danny?
I was able to witness, I worship firsthand, I'm from Southeast Asia.
Yeah,
We would leave the base and go out to the village. It was not uncommon to see people at the shrine with their idols and with incense from it. They would worship.
yeah.
Because I never think I did. It was okay.
All right. Anybody got anything else? Let's move on to chapter 3. And we should be able to finish up 3 tonight. Chapter 3 is Habakkuk's response now to God's answers to a few questions. And it's a pretty interesting response. In verses 1 and 2, it says, a prayer of Habakkuk the prophet on Shigionoth. O Lord, I have heard your speech. I was afraid. I've heard the answers to my questions. I'm afraid. O Lord, revive your work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make it known. In wrath, remember mercy. We're going to come back to that. In verses 3 through 15 is the actual prayer. Prayer, the psalm, the psalm. Okay? And then at the end of the chapter, we have Habakkuk's reaction. Okay? So, a prayer of Habakkuk the prophet on Shigionoth. Anybody tell me what Shigionoth is?
It's already used twice in the Old Testament. And once in a singular, once in plural. So they refer to an instrument or a type of song.
Yeah, an instrument or a type of song. Do you have your name that way? Okay. The idea of Shigionoth is it may lend itself to a type of song, and it may have an accompaniment by a particular instrument. But it means to reel or to stagger, impassioned, emotional, triumphant expression. A lament, yeah, deeply emotional, right? An impassioned plea. And so the idea here is that Habakkuk is proclaiming how incredibly excited he is about this, not necessarily in a good way, right? But in a bad way. How it's like this is, God said, I'm going to tell you something to make your ears tingle, right? And so he's just kind of vibrating with this passion, this emotion, this idea of God accomplishing his will. And so that's what he says at the beginning of verse 2. I have heard your speech and was afraid.
Well, I think too about, we found that we knew God told us that the United States was going to be destroyed at such and such a time. We beat it right. He told us that another nation was going to be destroyed.
That's really a good point, right? To get an idea of what Habakkuk is talking about, let's suppose the Lord revealed to us that it's coming soon, your whole nation is going to be destroyed. You're going to be destroyed, and y'all are going to be sent into captivity. And then I'm going to destroy China for destroying you. What would that do to you? I mean, you think that would excite you a little bit? You think that would excite your emotions a little bit? You think that might make you a little bit passionate, maybe a little bit anxious, a little bit, wow, And Habakkuk knows this is going to happen. So we're talking about we know, okay, the scenario is laid out, we know it's going to happen, okay? How are you feeling? How are you reacting to that? It's like, are you running around with your hair on fire? You know, is the sky falling? You know, are you Chicken Little? Are you making plans to avoid this attack? Are you making plans to somehow to escape it? You know, you're agitated, right? And you're agitated in a very, very serious way. Is this going to happen in my lifetime? God will go back if it's done. Right? You know it's going to happen in your lifetime. But that's a really good point that you made there, David. The idea is like, wow, you know, I heard your speech and I was afraid. Okay? But now listen to what he says in the second line of verse 2. O Lord, revive your work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make it known. What's God's work? What's he talking about?
The work that you've done in the past, we do it again.
Yeah, the works that he's done in the past, but I think primarily he's talking about, Lord, fulfill your purpose. Provide your work. He brought Abraham out of Ur of the Chaldees. He made a great nation out of Abraham. He delivered them out of Egypt. All of this was for a purpose. Ultimately, his purpose was the salvation of all humanity. Israel was to be a blessing to the nation. And of course, Christ came through Israel and was a blessing to the whole world. So the idea is revive your work in the
That not only is going to be temporary, and
it says in your wrath, you say, yeah, okay,
And obey,
you know what?
trust and obey.
Yeah, you're just gonna trust God. You're gonna assure your faith over your emotions, over your anxiety, over your fear, and say, God's in control. Right? Lord, be merciful to us. Okay? And that's all you can do. Right? I mean, you could run around like Chicken Little. The sky is falling. But really, if you're of faith, if you really trust God, it's like, okay, remember mercy. Now I'm going to step back and I'm going to watch it all unfold with the realization that God's in control. Yeah, that's right. He may take care of me in captivity. Right? Yeah. He may take care of me by leaving me in the land. He may take care of me by taking me away. And welcome me into heaven. And Isaiah actually talks about that. That people don't consider the reason I take the righteous away is so they won't see the destruction that's coming upon the land. It's an act of mercy. All right.
That's great.
Yeah.
In the midst of the years, does that mean while I'm living? What do you think that means?
I think he talks about this throughout time to work your purpose, work your plan. In the midst of years, as this all unfolds, don't forget your work, don't forget your purpose, and just let's let it unfold. And I really like what Stuart brought up about the idea of like, okay, every Jew knows the promises that were made to Abraham. Every Jew knows the promises that were made to David. Okay? So are they thinking, oh, I guess God can be trusted? No, they're remembering these promises. So the idea is, okay, God, bring about your purpose. Don't necessarily understand how it's going to come about, but bring about your purpose. And in fact, God fulfilled his promises in incredibly unconventional ways, didn't he? Nobody in the Jewish economy, if you will, anticipated Jesus coming in, riding on a donkey, that he would be nailed to a cross. That's foolishness. That's a stumbling block for any Jew. Right? That's the ultimate shame and humility. And God says that's his king that he set on his holy hill of Zion. They would have even been able to conceive of it. What did the apostles think about when Jesus started talking about the crucifixion? Most of them didn't understand it. And Peter could have decided to rebuke them. Yeah, This is gonna happen to you. So, that trust really has to take a front seat. All right, let's quickly read through the prayer here. God came from Teman, the Holy One from Mount Paran. This is most likely a quote from Deuteronomy 38:2 and the Song of Moses, talking about God coming to the rescue of his people. And then Selah. What does the word Selah mean? Yeah, it's a pause. It doesn't mean amen. Okay? It's a pause. And there's some who believe that in the song that the Selah actually indicates a crescendo. And then you start over again. And then there's another crescendo. And then you start over again. And then there's a third crescendo. The idea is this is building and building and building praise to God. So the idea of the Holy One from Mount Paran, from Teman, his glory covered the heavens and the earth was full of his praise. His brightness was like the light. He had rays flashing from his hand, and there his power was hidden. Meaning the idea that it was just too bright to actually see his power. Before him went pestilence and fever followed at his feet. We know that God destroyed nations on Egypt with plague, what have you. But Teman and Paran, geographically, they're east of Jerusalem. So this picture is God rising like the sun, okay, in the east and coming for judgment to his people, and actually in the song coming for salvation. He said in verse 6, he stood and measured the earth. He looked and startled the nations, and the everlasting mountains were scattered. That would be nations. The perpetual hills bowed. His ways are everlasting. That's a contrast to the mountains being scattered, the hills being bowed. Verse 7, I saw the tents of Cushan in affliction. This is representing Egypt, south of Egypt. The curtains of the land of Midian trembled. O Lord, were you displeased with the rivers? Was your anger against the rivers? Was your wrath against the sea? That you rode on your horses, your chariots of what? Salvation. He's coming to fulfill his purpose. He's coming to save his people, even though they're going to be taken into captivity. Your bow is made quite ready. O's were sworn over your arrows. Selah, crescendo. Okay? Take a look at Deuteronomy 32. I think there's a clear connection here to Deuteronomy 32, verses 39 through 43. This is the Song of Moses. God is actually speaking in verse 39 of Deuteronomy 32. It says, now see that I, even I, am he, and there is no God beside me. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Nor is there any who can deliver from my hand. For I lift my hand to heaven, and say, as I live forever, if I whet my glittering sword, and my hand takes hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies, and repay those who hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, with the blood of the slain and the captives, from the heads of the leaders of the enemy. So he talks about, I raise my hand, as in an oath. So you go back to Habakkuk, there in verse 9, your bow is made quite ready, oaths were sworn over your arrows. So what Habakkuk is talking about is coming, God promised back in 32 of Deuteronomy. Right? He is fulfilling his oath against the nations that hate him. To hate his people is to hate him. He says, you divided the earth with rivers. The mountains saw you and trembled. The overflowing of the water passed by. The sea uttered its voice and lifted its hands on high. The sun and the moon stood still in their habitation. This could possibly be a reference to Joshua, where he prayed that the sun would stand still. At the light of your arrows they went, at the shining of your glittering spear. You marched through the land in indignation. You trampled the nations in anger. You went forth for the salvation of your people. There's his purpose. Okay? So every time you read about judgment, your salvation is connected to it. You went forth for the salvation of your people. For salvation with your anointed. and this may be a reference to Christ. You struck the head of the house of the wicked by laying bare from foundation to net, Selah. You thrust through with your own arrows the head of his villages. They came out, as the Chaldeans came out like a whirlwind to scatter me. Their rejoicing was like feasting on the poor in secret. You walk through the sea with your horses, through the heat of great waters. So there's his song, there's his prayer, there's his song. And it's glorifying God, and it talks about judgment, but also talks about salvation. Now here's Habakkuk's reaction. In verse 16, when I heard, my body trembled. My lips quivered with voice. Rottenness entered my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in the day of trouble. When he comes up to the people, he will invade them with his troops. And I think what Habakkuk is saying there is, I don't know if I can handle this. And that I might rest in the day of trouble. Verse 17, though the fig tree may not blossom, nor fruit be on the vines, though the labor of the olive may fail, and the fields yield no food, though the flock may be cut off from the fold, and there be no herd in stalls, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will joy in the God of my salvation. The Lord God is my strength. He will make my feet like a deer's feet, and he will make me walk on my high hills. The chief musician with my string instruments. So what's Habakkuk's attitude here at the end? I'm going to trust the Lord. Even though the world crumbles around me, I'm going to trust in God. He is my salvation. Okay? It's a beautiful conclusion to a book that addresses the confusion of one of God's prophets. How long are you going to let Jerusalem continue its wickedness? Oh, I'm going to destroy them by the Chaldeans. But aren't the Chaldeans worse? I said, yeah, and then I'm going to destroy the Chaldeans. I said, it's going to be a nightmare. And Habakkuk says, all right, I'll wait and I'll trust. Because you're my salvation. And it's a tremendously beautiful lesson for us today, regardless of what we may be facing at different times in our lives. And you're going to, in the course of your life, you're going to go through some very, very horrible times. Like you told that to Job's 3 friends. You know, once, even 3 times, God will bring the man to the pit and give him good look in order to bring him back from the pit. Right? So the idea is, what are you going to do when those times come? Will you have the faith of Habakkuk? Say, there is my salvation. Or will you forsake the Lord? People do that. They go through hard times, difficult times. Yes, they do. Never give up. It's time for the second bell.
About 1 minute.
Okay. We've got lesson books for the last 3 minor prophets, Haggai, Zechariah. Zechariah is the most messianic of the minor prophets. People compare with Isaiah. And then, of course, Malachi. To gain a much, much better understanding of these 3 prophets, read and reread Ezra and Nehemiah. Because that's when these guys prophesied, and when you read about the issues that they're dealing with in the history of Ezra and Nehemiah. And it will really make your study of Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi bear a lot of fruit. I'm going to be gone for the next 2 weeks. Connie is going to teach Haggai, 2 chapters. But it is full of a lot of very, very good stuff, very helpful stuff as well. And then we'll tackle Zechariah when I get back. All right, that's it. If you didn't get a lesson book, make sure you get one quick read.
Thank you.
Did you already do that?
Yes. I got it prepped.
Did you turn him off? His battery's go bad.
I think it's better. Start running down there at the very end.
Yeah, it turned red on me. I think,
We
yeah.
just talked about that.
I thought he turned you off because I thought he was saying you was talking too long.
I wouldn't put it past him. It's pretty scruffy there, man.
You don't like that?
You keeping you warm?
Not really. Make me itch. Did you say you already started on it?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm gonna leave you alone. Lori's on with Jackson.
Oh, Jackson.
She took him to
Probably the beer.
no, she took him to I thought they really had the fun. But
Well, our oldest kid's Diana. He's really sick. He made a mistake on urgent care. They gave 2 shots for him.
well, that's Jackson mind. All
2
about
shots and a bill for green.
he got some kind of steroids or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all he did was he called him eyes at work. He's like, oh, it's like, oh, it's stupid.
What you doing?
Well, you the one who got the illness.
We're actually, we're doing
Singing
Sunday.
Sunday.
You know who's preaching? That's what I was,
I don't know who's preaching.
It's gonna be Zach. Okay, so we'll get with Zach.
Okay,
So we'll get with,
Thursday.
we'll get with him and figure out like how long he's gonna talk.
Singing tonight.
No, you're fine, you're fine. No worries. Just scout it out what's up.
Tim. Is that Tim? Okay. Yes, I am. Remind everyone, you're doing announcements. No, yes. Just remind everybody, Benny Rogers in that one. I haven't seen him.
Is he still in this picture?
But, you know, those in there, back close. Probably not up. We're going in the order of the mics. We got the now. Hey, song leader. Let's start. Now we need to plan for it.
You're not happy as not.
No.
Okay, you got that, right?
Yes. I think it's already done.
Please get our songs. Tonight we'll be singing number 144, 144. I love the Lord. 144. I'd like to ask William April to please stand for this song. I love you, Lord, and I live my voice to worship you, oh my soul, rejoice, take joy, my King.
Good evening. Thank you for coming out for your Bible study. Just here on here tonight. To the visitors, please come back and be with us Sunday morning at 9 o'clock for Bible study and worship. Those that we need to keep in our prayers, we still have Ken out sick, and Diane is still not feeling well. She's at home. Kitty said that Bill's legs are doing somewhat better, but he's still in some pain. So keep him in our prayers. Sarah had a fainting episode this afternoon, and also was this evening, so keep her in our prayers. Craig and Shirley are going to be on vacation. He's heading up to Pennsylvania as far east as Philadelphia, maybe. And they'll be out for 2 Sundays and 2 Wednesdays, so let's keep them in our prayers. Thank you. To the members, we have the elder deacon forms back here in the back table. You know a man that qualifies for that position. Please take those forms, follow the instructions, and that form back to us by November 15th. Ross Roberts, who is one of the gentlemen that is affiliated with the preachers in India, that take an annual trip to India, and he sent us an email last month that describes their 2020 trip. Interestingly, Ben Carroll's not going to be able to go this year, but they are looking for financial support, and I'll post this letter back here in the back of the book for you to be able to look at it. We've got a time change this weekend. Remember, we fall back 1 hour. Fall. And so Sunday will be the first Sunday in November, and we can set our clocks back also because this is the first Sunday in November. We're in our new roster setting, so be sure to pick up your rosters in the mailboxes. And ready when you have these on Sunday. Anything else we need to mention before we close?
Dear God in heaven, we are so thankful for this time that we had to come together to study a portion of your word. We're so thankful for you being our great God, our almighty God, the creator of heaven and earth. We recognize you as our God. We recognize that you have revealed yourself to us through your word. We can read and understand who you are, who we are in relation to you, what our purpose here is on this earth. And we're so thankful for the story of how we were separated from you and how you put in place a plan that we can be made right before you through the blood of your son, Jesus Christ. Help us always to look towards the goal of being with you for all eternity. I'm so thankful for each of us that come together to encourage each other, to build each other up. That we will always be looking around and taking advantage of opportunities to do good. Help us to be mindful of those who are not doing well physically, that you would be with them, give them a measure of health that you can. Pray especially for Dana and Diana. Pray for Don Roberts. We pray also for Sarah, and those who, and any others who may be in need of your assistance and care. Help us to look at opportunities to help them in any way that we can. Help us to be mindful, look, dear Lord, that we are to be salt of the earth, and we are to be light of the world. And let's not forget that we belong to you. Keep our eyes on the goal to be with you for all eternity and let our lives go. All these things we ask from your Son. Amen.
Dave told me to go out and look at the color printing on the back of the building. And not that it matters. I'm going to go pray. And it's Dave.
Oh, you look at them?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, they're, not out there anymore, I was confused.
I'll look at it on Monday.
Okay. I think that's what we said.
Yeah. It's almost off white. So they come with Richmond.
Yeah.
And then the red orange, just like the orange did. Red orange. What orange could we be? Maybe.
That's no.
Much better. Okay. It's actually going to Pittsburgh. Running on Springfield, Illinois. See Lincoln. Yep. They were playing over here in Indianapolis. See the what's it called? The Army team for me.
What's that? Mine from Steve has. Batteries. You know what the AV, I'm sorry, you know what the AV folks told me? Don't use rechargeable. He said rechargeable go dead all of a sudden and other than give you a notice.
The last two and
yeah, he said don't use it. Give me a couple of them really old don't have it.
And then down to Cincinnati, Columbus, and Cleveland, then down to Pittsburgh. Yeah, and then from Pittsburgh down to Charleston, West Virginia, then to Lexington.
You picked a bad time to do that.
No, we take an excellent time.
I've been to trees, but I'm at the tree turning.
I'm just talking about
I was thinking that ice and snow up there.
supposed to be the next several days supposed to be sunny.
That's good. We made that drive 2 years ago and went to Boston. That's a pretty area. I see a lot of Amish in Texas.
Yeah. And most of the trees up there were from We'll see.
Is this the one that messed up? What's that?
What number is that?
1. Oh, it's all off. That's right. That's right. We'll test it later.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to get more.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find
Is there any more AAAs? Those are better. Any more AAAs? It should be triple. Yeah, okay, you don't use those. Right? I gotta shut all this down. What's that?
Triple or square.
Okay. Those are called 9 volts.
Stuff like Japan food from the temple. Am I right? Yeah. So we're gonna change this.
Once you finish making plates, we'll start to go. Everybody saw that crowd?
Did you actually do that?
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you. The difference in